Hi everybody, old Gary out here at the Fishing Shack, and welcome to this week's Fishing Chums Fishing Report and Show. Boy, do we have a dandy for you today, I'm telling you. Crappie, crappie, crappie. Good reports from out at Truman. I tell you, Pomme de Terre has really turned on this week. Stockton, good crappie reports. Good bass fishing at times at Bull Shoals and Table Rock. And good fishing over at Beaver too. So we have a lot to talk about. First of all, let's take care of a little business. We have a big drawing coming up we want to talk about in a minute. But first of all, I want to thank all the thousands of you chummers out there. My golly, thank you very much. Over 15,000 views this last week. Good going. Keep telling your people about it. Keep this thing going. We're having a lot of fun, aren't we? All right. Second part of business where we get into these reports, and I have some big fish to show you today too, a lot of photos, is that next week at this time, we are going to be giving away a couple prints, beautiful crappie prints. Miss Carla, my awesome assistant, look at this right here from Mary Phillip out of the Branson West Art Gallery. Hey, she upped it, man. We're going to be giving away two of these next week. Two of these framed prints. Boy, they're absolutely gorgeous. Look good in your fishing shack or your fishing den, that's for sure. Now, this is all you have to do. You just go to our Facebook page and join our Fishing Chums group and sign up for the drawing. And next Friday at this very same time, I'm going to be drawing a couple names out, and there's going to be two winners. And I hope you're going to be one of them, that's for sure. Oh boy. All right, let's go here. We have a lot of big fish to talk about, good crappie reports. Bass fishing's been pretty darn good. So let's start out with this one right here. Now this photo comes from a private lake in Missouri, and it is a dandy. It's a dandy fish. Fellow chummer, he's a chummer, and his name is Matt Settlemores. And he is, boy, got a 10-pound bass the other day. Look at this photo. Wow. He was fishing a private lake here in Missouri, and he was fishing with the Omega Rapture coleslaw color. Pitched that rascal out in about 3 foot of water, and boom, a 10-pounder, fish of a lifetime. Good going, Matt. Great photo, great photo. All right, let's start out with Beaver Lake. You know, that water temperature today got up to around 61 or 62 degrees. And it always starts out a little cooler in the mornings, maybe 57, 58, 59, then it gradually gets up in the 60s. And I do want to say this, right now, we're going to have a beautiful weekend. I'm no weatherman, but I think we're going to have a great weekend, and all next week looks good. And so, wow, those fish are going to go back to their spawning areas. There's going to be all kinds of phases of spawning for bass, and the crappie, oh, it's going to get better and better. All right, 61 today out at Beaver. I want to say hi to our fellow chummer, Richard Lee Rusher. Good going, Richard Lee. He was down fishing. He fishes down below the dam, does a lot of trout fishing at Beaver, walleye, crappie, whatever. He was fishing there the other evening, and look at this. Good going, Richard Lee Rusher. A nice spoonbill. Wow, they're fun to catch. Well, he tugged on the line, and he had this beautiful young lady out and some of her family. Also, look at this photo of this young lady with some nice trout. Love to see those kids fish. Love to see the kids fish. Okay, let's go on to Lance Huey. Lance is big fish crappie man. He catches the big crappie at Beaver. My golly, look at these photos. Whoa, now that is 4 big hog crappie. And the crappie fishing's been good out at Beaver. It's been real good. They've been catching fish in a variety of ways, some shallow, some still out in 10, maybe 12 feet of water. They've been jigging them. They've been using floating minnows. They've been using floating jigs, pitching jigs out, swimming jigs, vertically fishing jigs, and catching some real quality fish. And that could be real good this weekend and even better next week. Ooh, boy, pretty exciting. Jason Carney also, look at these fish. Hey, boy, look at that big, beautiful crappie. That's all out at Beaver. Okay, the crappie fishing's good. There's been some nice stripers caught the last couple of days. I know the guides have been going out and finding schools of stripers, and getting on those long points and flats, I understand, using live bait for the most part and picking up some nice stripers. And the bass fishing's been good on the main lake. They've been catching bass on a variety of baits. If you're going bass fishing at Beaver this weekend, I'd grab a tackle box full of jigs, flip some jigs, swim some jigs. Also, they've been picking up some fish on jerk baits and swim baits, and at times some crawdads, imitation baits like a wiggle wart. And hey, looks good at Beaver for the upcoming weekend. Visited with Richard Lee Rusher down below the dam. They've been catching some trout. The crappie fishing's been fair down there, and they've been trolling some trolling baits like the flicker shad and picking up some walleye on occasion. So Beaver looks good for the upcoming weekend. All right, let's go out to Table Rock. You know, Carl and I fished out there 2 or 3 days this last week and the first of the week. Had a couple good days. I think we were out Monday, had kind of a bad day. But the fish, with the cooler weather and the rains, come in kind of moving out. They have been in kind of all phases of the spawn, but they did back out a little bit with the cooler weather this week. But I'm telling you, they're going to jump right back on it. There should be some awesome fishing maybe this weekend and next week. And speaking of the water temperature out there, why not? It's 60 degrees today, but it can get higher. When we went out this week, the morning hours fishing temperature, the surface temperature would be around 56 or 7, and then it would gradually go up to around 61 or 62. So good temperatures out at Table Rock. All right, Jimmy Eagleton. Gosh, can't even read my own writing. Boy, he's been going out this week at Table Rock catching some good fish on jerk baits, on a variety of bait, good bass. Look at this nice bass, Jimmy. Wow, then he was out last night, I believe, and was back in the cove using a jerk bait. And look here, he caught a nice walleye. Beautiful walleye. Jimmy, that's good going, my friend, good going. Okay, Carla Sneed was out the other day at Table Rock, and look at this beautiful smallmouth bass. Good going, Carla. You called her Carla. Girls can catch fish, that's for sure. Carla Sneed, nice smallmouth. And we're going to do some dock fishing. This might get you stirred up for crappie this weekend. Kathy Royster, she caught this, look at this photo here, this beautiful crappie off the dock on a minnow. And there's been quite a few crappie caught on the docks around Table Rock, all around the lake this last few days. They're really moving around the docks. We'll be talking about that here in a minute. And Carla and I were out the other day, and look at this. The old man can still catch a fish once in a while. Pitched out a swim bait, popped this real nice spot, real nice spotted bass. Boy, she was full of eggs. I took a couple pictures and put her back into the water. She's going to lay those eggs. That was fun. And look at this other photo of Carla and I. Look at that. Ooh, boy, good fishing. All right, let's talk a little bit about the methods we're catching fish right now. For the crappie, once again, they're catching crappie around some of the docks on jigs and minnows. And the dock, especially for you guys who docked up the docks, is what I like to call them. Put some crappie condos in there, right in the corner. You can sink Christmas trees or cedar trees and get a little condo going there, and those crappie will move through and stay in these areas. Vertically fishing jigs or jigging minnows or minnows can pay out, and I've had reports from all over the lake. So dock fishing's good. Now up around Point 15, there's been some good fishing this week, this past few days. I don't know what this rain, I think it was Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday did to these fish. I hope it didn't muddy that water up in the James. But the James Point 15 had been really producing some good crappie. Kind of where the bank, close to the bank. Some people are getting them right off the shallow water banks and also going on down and vertically fishing in around 10 feet of water. Swimming jigs, vertically fishing jigs, minnows, and you're going to catch some fish. But I don't know what it did. It might have dirtied up a little bit, but I hope not. I hope not. And they've been picking up some fish up in Long Creek, too. Some nice crappie the last few days. And Point 14 on the James River has been paying off. So check out your favorite crappie spots this weekend on Table Rock. You'll have a chance of picking up some fish, I promise you. All right, the bass fishing, they're catching them on a variety of baits. Like I said, there's kind of all phases of the spawn going on right now. But I think with this weather, this weekend getting warm and consistent, and next weekend there's going to be a lot of spawning activity. They're catching fish right now on a variety of baits. They're picking up some fish on swim baits, the jerk baits. They've been picking up some fish swimming jigs. They've been picking up some fish on plastic worms. And off the points and secondary points, hey, I've heard of rattle traps. I've heard also of some wigglewort fishing as well. So dock fishing's been pretty good too. So get out to your favorite spot on Table Rock. I think you're going to get bit. And there's some big fish going up, nice bass being caught on Table Rock right now. In fact, look at this photo. Kimberly Kaufman was out the other day, and boy, she picked up this beautiful bass. Look at this. Good going, Kimberly, that's for sure. And let's see, we have one other photo of the rock. Scott Cochran was out just yesterday afternoon and picked up this nice bass. Good going, Scott. Good bass fishing at Table Rock. A few white bass are being caught on some of the flats and points too. All right, let's go over to Taneycomo. The water temperature is 47 degrees out at Taneycomo today, and the fishing's really picked up a little bit. They're not running quite so much water. I've had good reports up around one of my favorite areas, Monkey Island, and they're catching not only rainbows, but they've been catching several nice brown trout up there as well, all the way to the landing. And the Conservation Department has been stocking trout all week up and down Taneycomo. They're catching fish. Yeah, this is what I like to do when those browns are roaming. I like to get a 2 or 4 pound test ultralight. Use like a 32nd or a 64th ounce jig. Cinnamon is a good color. Also black with a little bit of chartreuse in it, maybe brown. Pitch that out, let it go down, swim it in. Oh, you can have a lot of fun with this. Also, they're picking up some fish on small crankbaits and jerkbaits is what I'm trying to say, jerkbaits. Got a lot to say today. I'm trying to run through this. But anyway, Taneycomo could be good for the upcoming weekend. Live bait, go with minnows or night crawlers out of Lake Taneycomo. And if you don't want to do a little dragging, some power eggs, still stay with that white or pink. All right, out at Bull Shoals, Patrick Gray was out couple days ago, and look at this beautiful smallmouth that Patrick hooked onto. Good going, Patrick. Beautiful smallmouth. And a happy birthday to Dale Colvin, great guide out of Bull Shoals boat dock. Beautiful, beautiful bass. Look at these 2 bass he caught for his birthday, I'm sure. Very nice fish, Dale, and happy birthday. And hope you have a good weekend fishing. Dale Colvin, big bass. Boy, if you need a guide, you want big bass, good fish, get a hold of Dale out at the Bull Shoals boat dock out there at Bull Shoals. Ooh. All right, let's, what they're doing out at Bull Shoals right now is catching them on a variety of bait. Some of the fish are back into the coves, they're back halfway back into the creek arms, they're back on some of the shorelines, and they're using swimming jigs. They're doing pretty good. They've been picking up some fish on swim baits and also jerk baits. We've had some reports of some topwater action out there. Keep an eye on topwater this weekend, some spook fishing. And so get out and try Bull Shoals. You know, the lake is like 25 feet high. But boy, if you get that boat in there, I know you're going to be able to catch some fish. I've had some fair reports on crappie, and down below the dam at Taneycomo, and they have been picking up some fish at the way upper end of Bull Shoals, a few walleye on swim baits and jerk baits. And we're picking up a few walleye out on the main lake points, but down at that upper end, walleye, they've been picking up some white bass and a few crappie mixed together at the old hole there down below the dam. All right, let's go to Stockton. That water temperature out there was 58 degrees this morning. And a tip of the hat, the old fishing hat, to Matt Underwood. He was out earlier in the week at Stockton, and look at this beautiful 8-pound bass that he caught at Stockton. Wow, Matt. Good going. I tell you, Matt's caught good fish this weekend. Max Settlemore got the 10-pounder. Matt Underwood caught the 8-pounder. That's big fish anywhere. So congratulations. And Aaron David. Now, this is the photo of the week. I had a hard time picking the photo of the week. There's so many good fish caught. But I love this photo right here. Aaron's a good guy. He takes his son out, Eli, and look what Eli did the other day. About a 15-inch crappie. Eli, good going, young man. Photo of the week. Good going. And they've been catching some nice crappie out at Stockton. And I've talked to some guys that emailed me and messengered me, and they've been catching some fish off the bank there. Now, if you're looking for you folks that don't have a boat, I tell you, either Stockton or Pomme de Terre would be a good place to go this weekend and do some bank fishing. They're catching them shallow. In fact, out at Stockton, Zachary Lawrence was out yesterday. He got a little wet, a little bit of rain, but he caught his limit, picked up a walleye too. Look at this photo, Zachary Lawrence, and he was fishing in his kayak. Ooh, I like that. Good going, Zachary Lawrence. What else is going on? Oh, my old buddy Jeff Deckard. He was out the other day, had a guide party out. I believe he was guiding Hunter and Tim Williams, and they all got their limit at Stockton. So they are catching a lot of fish. Now, some people are fishing shallow. Some people are still fishing 10 to 12 feet of water. But boy, I tell you, some of these fish are moving up, and they could be there this weekend. So check out Stockton for crappie. Ooh, sounds good. Now, they are picking up a few walleye off the points and secondary points, too. They've been trolling the flicker shad. And I tell you what, the boys out at the Tandem fly guide service, they had a report that you never know what you're going to catch out there trolling that flicker shad. Could be white bass, it could be crappie or walleye off the point. So try that. And good bass fishing at Stockton as well. They've been picking up some fish on jigs. They've been picking up some fish on the jerk bait and the swim bait. And so try out your favorite bait at Stockton. The bass fishing has been really good. Okay, let's go out to Pomme de Terre. Pomme de Terre, boy, I tell you what, Eli Massey, he has been taking his son Zach out fishing all for the last several weeks. And look what, now Zach, I about give you the photo of the week. I had so many great photos, I had to draw one out of a hat to see which one was going to win. Because you're all winners. Zach, that's a beautiful crappie and around 15 inches. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Good going, young man, good going. And Kelly Morse was out. Now, I don't have a photo of Kelly, but he was out and at Pomme de Terre yesterday, day before, I think it was, fishing in the rain, and he and his buddies caught a 3-man limit, and I believe, I tell you what, they were all nice fish. So good going, Kelly, good going out at Pomme de Terre. Another thing I've heard, I had 3 different messengers on the bass fishing at Pomme de Terre. It's really good for very few people fishing out there. I've had reports of jigs, and same thing, jerk baits, swim baits, and also I had a nice report from a gentleman that was fishing with a floating plastic worm. He said he just put a couple split shots up above the floater, the worm, pitched it out, let it kind of swim down. He picked up 4 nice bass and released them out at Pomme de Terre. Bass fishing at Pomme, that sounds good. Peter sent me this photo. He was fishing from the bank yesterday, and he had his kids out there, and they caught a whole mess of fish. Look at this. And look at this young lady in this pink outfit. Boy, look at this smile. That's a beautiful, beautiful smile, young lady. You could have got the photo of the week as well. But I tell you what, Pete, good going, taking those kids out, fishing from the bank, catching a big old mess of crappie out there. Good going, my friend, good going. All right, let's go out to Truman now. That water temperature is 57 degrees. It's been fluctuating, getting a little bit warmer in the afternoon hours. And they've been picking up fish, I've heard, in the Bucksaw area, the creek areas. Some people, as I mentioned last week, are starting in the way back of the creeks and just kind of working their way back. Kind of find that shad, but I understand the last couple of days about mid-creek area has been a good spot. You might want to try this tomorrow. And they're using minnows for the most part, jigging minnows. They are using few jigs, but they are using some floating minnows and floating jigging minnows and casting jigs out with minnows and catching fish out at Truman. In fact, Look at Billy Harmon. Whoa, my gosh, Billy. He had a 3-pound crappie the other day out at Truman. Look at this. Well, this will get your fishing fever up, that's for sure. Good going, Billy. 3-pound crappie. Wow. And my buddy Jordan Lear was out the other day, yesterday, and he and a couple of his buddies caught a limit of crappie out at Truman. Good going, Jordan. And Jordan's a great guide on Truman. He guides for crappie and catfish. Boy, if you ever want a catfish guide or crappie guide, look up Jordan Lear. Man, they caught some good fish. He said the cats are still going good on Truman on the flats and cut bait, I should say. Really a good bet out there. Good going, Jordan. We've got to go fishing again one of these days. And Darren McLaughlin was out the other day. Look at this. He was fishing Truman. He's a chummer. All these people I mentioned pretty well are all chummers. And God bless you all for sending those photos in. And Darren got into a good old mess. Look at that. Good old mess of crappie out at Truman. Okay, Lake the Ozarks, 58 degrees. It gets up in the 60s in the late morning, early afternoon. And boy, look at our buddy Michael Parker was out the other day. Look at this big old crappie. Boy, that's a beautiful fish. And he caught some real nice fish at Lake the Ozarks in the Osage Arm this week. And look at his daughter. Wow, Melissa. And boy, look at these two beautiful crappie. Good going, young lady. Beautiful. Boy, two huge crappie. Good going in the Osage Arm. And Ted Lazinski was out up at the Gravelous Arm. He and his son, look at this beautiful photo. Absolutely gorgeous. They caught these fish up the Gravelous Arm, and I mean, some of these fish at Lake the Ozarks are really going shallow. A lot of fish being caught out there. It should be a great weekend, and next week ought to be fabulous. Lake the Ozarks, they're picking them up off the bank. They're picking them up in maybe 8 foot of water, 10 foot of water. And minnows are jigs. A lot of people are just swimming jigs, and they are catching them. Bass fishing's been pretty good for the few people bass fishing at the lake, but they have been picking up some fish, jerk baits, and they've been jig fishing, and they've been picking up, I understand, slow rolling spinner baits if you find a windy bank. So that's out at Lake the Ozarks. Okay, let's wrap this thing up before we go to all of our photo roll. And we're going to go to Norfolk. It was 63 degrees out there. The bass are in all kinds of phases of spawning right now. There's been some good bass fishing. And the crappie are really good for the few people that's been out there crappie fishing. Some of them are going shallow. Some of them are down around 10, 15 feet of water. But boy, when you do get them at Norfolk, they're really nice size. And understand they've been picking up some real nice stripers on occasion on the flats out at Norfolk. Well, we want to thank you very much for being with us. We're going to quickly wrap this thing up, but I want to thank all of our friends over on YouTube for watching us. A lot of you people that used to watch on YouTube kind of went over to Facebook. That's okay, but we want you to tell your friends about us, and we want you to like and share, and also put it up there, Kathy. There you go, subscribe. You know what happens when you subscribe? You never miss out on a show. Now, I'm going to be doing a special in the next week or two on walleye fishing in the Ozarks. And you know, there's a lot of different methods and a lot of different lures and baits to use to catch walleye. And we're going to be talking about this in our walleye special coming up right here on Fishing Chums. And if you subscribe, you won't miss out on nothing. And for our great friends over on Facebook, my gosh, we had over 15,000 views last week on Facebook alone. God bless you. Thank you very much, in our groups as well. And we want you to join our group. Join our group on Facebook, the Fishing Chums group, and you'll be eligible for those drawings of those two beautiful crappie prints, courtesy of Mary Phillip out at the Branson West Art Gallery. And we're going to draw them out this next week at the same time, so be sure to get your name in there and join our group, and you may win one of those beautiful photos. And I want to have our friends over at Facebook be sure to like and share. And if you have any photos, boy, we get a lot of photos sent to me personally on my Facebook page on Messenger, but also on our group. Just send it to our Fishing Chums group on Facebook. And if you'd like to send and use it on the internet, just go to fishingchums@gmail.com and send all your questions or photos there. We'll take care of you. Well, we have some good weather coming up, guys and gals. Beautiful weather. And just want to kind of finish this thing up by saying God bless all of you for watching us. Be sure to share it. And I just want to say to the Charlie Campbell family, Charlie, as you know by now, passed away this week, and a great guy. He was a teacher and a coach at Forsyth, and he was a guide on bull shoals for years, and a great tournament bass fisherman, and a great guy. Boy, he was one of a kind, and boy, I enjoyed fishing with him, and always enjoyed visiting with Charlie Campbell. We'll all miss you, that's for sure. Well, that's it. We have some great photos coming your way, and if I don't see you out on the lake this weekend, I want to see you back next week at this same time. God bless you, and Kathy, roll those wonderful photos.